Okay then. Where was it? 15 and... Haha! That makes 5. That is all. Stop recording.
I don't know.
This is the same button you pressed.
This one?
No, the red button.
There's a red button?
Yeah, This game is old. And I don't mean old like it's 10 or 20 years old. I just mean that it's irrelevant to talk about in 2016. There's some games that are very iconic, are known for their very strong narrative, and have gameplay that just lasts the test of time, but this isn't one of those games. A couple years from now, when the PS4's life cycle ends and people ask, hey, what were your favorite games on the PS4? I don't think this is going to be anybody's favorite game. So why talk about it now? The thing is, I've been set on making this video for about a year now, but then I got busy with school and stuff happened, so I'm only getting to it now. I'm a strong believer that when people or YouTubers say that they don't make their content for you, they make for them, they're not telling the whole truth, because they make them for you to see. If they just made them for themselves, they just not upload their videos, but that's stupid. So I'm making this for you to see, but not because you want to see necessarily, but because I want to show it to you. Without further ado, let's get into it. inFAMOUS First Light is Sucker Punch's follow-up to the 2014 hit inFAMOUS Second Son. First Light isn't a direct sequel to Second Son, it's just a standalone DLC title that's actually a prequel to Second Son's story. Second Son, by the way, was pretty good, and I also platinumed it, but when I did it, I wasn't paying that much attention to the game's details, I was just after trophies. I'm probably gonna make a Second Son after platinum, or I'd say early next year. I just need to get the copy of the game back from my brother when I see him around Christmas time. I don't mean to make this comparison video for First Light and Second Son, but I might as well say this now. I had more fun playing First Light than I had playing Second Son, and I can explain why. If you check the review scores by major companies for Second Son, you'll see that it averages around an 8 out of 10, and if you do the same for First Light, you'll see that it averages about a 7 out of 10. I'm not going to tell you that I think First Light is a better game just because I had more fun with it, because it's not. But I will tell you why I had more fun with the game and everything I find notable about it in general. Also, this is the first time I'm doing this, and I try to be very thorough. I try to fact check a lot, but if I make some mistakes that, no, I don't mean like arguable mistakes, I mean I make some just flat out errors, just let me know. I'll do better next time. If you're familiar with Second Son's gameplay, First Light is the same thing but with 2 notable exceptions. The first exception, which made a lot of people iffy getting this game, including myself, is the fact that you only have 1 power. In Second Son, Delsin starts out with the smoke power, but gets video and neon in time for the final boss. After the final boss, you get concrete, but you'll only really need to use it after the game if you want to platinum it or see if it's fun, which it's not. Like honestly, concrete is dirt. Don't use it. So let's just say Second Son has 3 powers as opposed to First Light's 1 power, which is neon. I think this is perfectly fine. In inFAMOUS 1 and 2, you only had electricity, and they were great from what I was told. I haven't had a chance to personally play them. However, I do understand that the situation is different in this game because for those who played Second Son, it would feel like a huge step back in variety. The second exception is that in this game, there are no good karma or evil karma options, which I'm fine with because I found them pointless to begin with. Side note, but I think there should be a good karma campaign and an evil karma campaign in the inFAMOUS games so they can make the obvious choices for you and turn those moments where you'd make a decision into fluid cutscenes. I mean, to face it, no one who was playing the game with good karma will decide to just make an evil karma decision because you'll lose good karma and not level up as fast. For those of you who don't know, in the other inFAMOUS games, your powers would differ depending on if you made good or bad karma decisions in the campaign, which they've opted to take out of in this game and replace it with one neutral story. I'm fine with this, especially because good karma neon powers were my second least favorite power in Second Son, and I don't want to use them again. At first I didn't want to get this game because like I said, it only had neon, but I actually found the change of neon pretty fun. The most basic change they added to spice up neon was put these pink rings around the whole town that increase your speed when you pass through them. You can only see them when you're in your neon form and it helps speed the process of moving along, so there's no fast travel in this game. Also, you lose speed when you haven't gone through a ring in a certain amount of time. It's a very small change, but just a little pleasant something, you know? Traveling through the city can be fun when you decide to jump and glide randomly or just scroll around, but sometimes you get stuck on parts of buildings and the experience feels less fluid. And when I say it feels less fluid, I mean like, it really doesn't matter. It's like 1 out of 97 times when you're just flying and gliding around, you'll just get stuck, but it honestly isn't that big a deal. Like in Second Son, the First Light gives you an ability tree which you can use to unlock new moves. Some abilities are unlocked only after beating certain campaign missions, and you can unlock the rest of your abilities by collecting and spending SP. You get SP when you do neon art, collect lumen, and complete an achievement in the arena, which I'll touch base with later. Lumen, by the way, is what they're using in this game to replace shards. You can find it floating around in the air. Some are harder to get than others, but it's not really a challenge, just something to do. In this game, they replaced Delsin's spray paint graffiti with Fetch's neon graffiti. It shows that Sucker Punch is trying to give us something different instead of selling you DLC that's the same thing you already bought and played before. but that doesn't really even matter because it's bad. To spray paint as Delsin, it was so cool. You had to use your PS4 controller as a spray can and use the gyroscope to aim your spray. And your controller actually made the little ball sound, you know the little ball sound, the one that like spray paint makes when you shake it, when you actually shake it. With Fetch, you just gotta tilt your controller awkwardly in your hands, and she doesn't react immediately when you do it, so it gets frustrating if you move too fast, and it'll show to complete the graffiti art you're working on. If I had to describe the controls to describe it, I'd say wonky, and I've never used that word before. Alright, I've used it before, but like not in context. The controls are wonky. A new mode to the game added was the arenas. As you progress through the story, you get more arena options. There's 3 arenas in total and 2 different game modes to do across all 3 arenas, except the Gamma Arena, which only has survival because only demons spawn on that map and you need humans for rescue. The rescue mode is Fetch saving holographic green humans who spawn with holographic evil humans who try and kill the green human. One hostage will spawn with a number of bad guys at a time, and you have to defeat all of them before you can rescue the hostage. A maximum of 5 hostages are allowed to die before you lose the game mode. Also, random waves of enemies who just want to kill you will spawn at the beginning of waves. You don't have to kill those enemies to save your hostage, just stay alive. Survival mode is basically what you'd expect. Waves of enemies spawn and you survive as long as you can. If you don't kill everyone from a wave when another wave's ready to spawn, it doesn't matter. The enemies will spawn anyway, so it's important that you kill them and not just run. Just spam triangles, missiles, and your karmic blast thingy. I want to say karmic streak, but like, I'm not sure. Each of the 3 arenas differ slightly in some way, apart from the Gamma Arena not having a rescue mode. Keep in mind that you earn SP when you complete achievements in the arena, so watch out for that. You'll get most of them by just playing and not even trying, so I wouldn't say necessarily watch out for it, just like check to see how much SP you have every now and then, so you can upgrade your shit. The Alpha Arena has a particular landscape that I'm not going to try and describe. The enemies in its rescue mode are all thugs, and in survival mode it's DUP agents and demons. The Gamma Arena's also got a different landscape. This one seems to focus more on floating through the sky and comet dropping. It says that you'll be fighting waves of demons, but don't let that fool you. It's waves of demons and DUP agents. I know the game's trying to deceive you, but I just want to let you know the truth. I'm just saying. Lastly, the Beta Arena has a different landscape, which kind of feels like a mix between the Gamma and Alpha landscape because it's kind of structured like the Alpha Arena, but it's different enough to be considered its own. This particular arena also has these grounded auto turrets. Once you go up to them and then tap the touchpad, they get rewired and then they start flying for you, which is pretty nice. Also, that's the breakaway bridges from the Gamma Arena. Its rescue and survival mode enemies are all DUP agents. In the survival modes, you can get power-ups by destroying these flying auto turret things. Each auto turret has 1 of 4 shards in it with a different ability. The pink makes you invulnerable to getting disrupted by attacks, the green lets you spam triangle, the blue gives your basic neon blast more power, and the yellow multiplies your combo counter if I remember correctly.
When the hell did they catch me?
You can also play as Delsin in each arena mode, but in my opinion, significantly harder to play as Delsin and do as well in these modes. Especially using the good karma powers, because they suck compared to evil karma. When you play as Delsin, you don't get to see his ability tree that he has in Second Son, but all his powers are unlocked and maxed out. If you haven't played Second Son, you'll have to figure out or Google what his powers are to know all you can do. Moving on to the basic combat, which I probably should have touched with first because it's basic combat. It's you fighting herds of enemies, 1v20 or plus guys. They tend to have guns and smoke grenades, concrete powers, or just be demons, you know. Especially you can dash as Neon Light, fire Neon Light, float using Neon Light, punch a bitch in the face using Neon Light, you know, just Neon Light shit. In this game, you got a few more things you can do with Neon than Delsin could in Second Son. But out of all of them, all you need is triangle. After you completely knock somebody out or dash up to somebody and you get, I want to say, let's just call it a stack on your triangle. You can hold 3 stacks at once. With a stack, you can triangle onto someone and just obliterate them. It is beautiful. In Second Son, all the melee was pretty dirt except maybe video. Maybe video. In arena mode, I stayed alive by running up to dudes and kicking them in the chest. It's honestly so fun to have in the game, especially when you're upgraded. It really adds to the gameplay. However, it does have one flaw, the fact that it's glitched. Sometimes after you knock someone up, you can't press triangle to kick them in the chest. Other times when you see the triangle symbol and press it, you'll charge at your target but not actually connect. I'm recording this before I look through all the gameplay, so if I can't find any extra proof of this, I apologize, but trust me, it's there. And I'm saying this because I probably can't find any proof of this, but I'm serious, it is there. If you only beat the game's campaign, you probably won't notice it though. It's not a long game. They also added, I want to say, about 3 or 4 of these first-person sections where you're Fetch and you have to snipe people with your powers before they get past your line of sight. They're okay, they're exactly what they sound like. Arguably, Infamous First Light has a much better story than Infamous Second Son. Second Son's story is so basic that if you think about it for too long, you'll hate it. At least me and a few of my friends did after we played it. But like I said, this isn't Second Son versus First Light. I'll touch more on Second Son's story in my Second Son after Platinum. For now, let's get to First Light's story. Infamous First Light happens a bit before the crash at the beginning of Infamous Second Son. This prequel follows Conduit Fetchwalker, who's just been taken in by the DUP. And for those who don't know, conduits, or bioterrorists as they are called, are people with powers, plain and simple. I think they're mutants, doesn't really say. Fetch is being questioned by DUP Director Augustine about what happened to her prior to her arrest. As Fetch tells Augustine what happened, you play the game in flashbacks of when Fetch lived in Seattle with her brother Brent, who's a stand-up dude by the way. Even though most of the gameplay is in Seattle like in Second Son, the map is considerably smaller. However, you won't be playing in Seattle for all the game. Every now and then you'll be pulled from the past to try out some new powers or play the various arena modes which Augustine wants you to do to train you in the hopes that she'll convince you to work for her one day. Second Son, when it came out, was Sony showing off the PS4's graphics capability, and you'll be happy to know that First Light is on the same level as Second Son graphic-wise. Cutscenes looking pretty decent if you ask me. Going through Second Son, I could tell it had a lack of cutscenes. A lot of the story was heard through the weird informer messages, which is just Delsin listening to a recording or just Delsin talking on the phone. Like seriously, too much of that game's story was just Delsin on his phone. But don't worry, First Light has the exact same problem. Why did I phrase that like a good thing? The only difference is there's no informer messages to add to the story, so it's even less detailed. The game is shorter though, so I feel like there's only one place where they really needed a cutscene. It would have just flowed so much better than what they chose to do instead. The game also has those amazing art sequences from Second Son that you saw whenever Delsin got a new power. Speaking of those art sequences, in Second Son, when you see Fetch's art sequence explaining her past, it implies something happening a certain way. When you actually see the event the Second Son art sequence mentions when you play First Light, it seems like you've been misled considering the stories don't match up to each other. You can call this a fail in continuity or a plot hole, but it's not flat out wrong or that important really. The story for this game was probably made after they already made Second Son and wanted to make it better than the way they depicted Fetch's story to have happened. Besides that, as far as the story goes, it's alright. I'd say a little bit on the good side than on the bad side. It's not amazing or anything, but it gets to the game fine. A little bit better than fine, I'd say. Something that did bother me though, like heavily bother me, it's literally the most important thing in the game. Fetch's walking animation during cutscenes looks kind of choppy. I mean, look at it. What is this? Is this how you get your sick jokes, developers? As far as platinums go, I'd call this one fun to get. Not a long investment in time, and it's not that hard to get either. There are no missable trophies, and you get most of the trophies by playing the arena. At first, the arena modes were pretty hard to do, for me at least, because I'm not that strong a gamer, I'll admit, but I got the hang of it pretty easily and grinded through to get the gold trophy. My advice is spam triangle and anything else that work until you unlock your karma blast thing. I want to say karmic streak, but I'm still not sure. Then repeat the cycle. Don't leave enemies alive for too long, or else there'll just be a swarm of them and they will wreck you. If you miss any in-game achievements or just don't know how to get them, YouTube the achievement and there'll probably be a video explaining how to get it. If you're a trophy hunter and you played or even platinum Sunset, this game is a must buy. At the end of the day, I like First Light, but I could not recommend it over Second Son. Second Son is just clearly the better game. It's bigger, there's more power variety, and there's more to do. The only reason I was able to enjoy First Light so much is because I played Second Son and got its full experience. If you haven't played Second Son and are thinking of playing First Light, I just tell you to get Second Son, then play First Light after if you're still interested. You could just play First Light, but I feel like you'd enjoy it more if you played it in the order that I did. First Light's certainly a likable game though, so if you only played, you'll still have fun, just not as much fun. So just to clarify, my recommendation is play Second Son before you play First Light if you want the full enjoyment of the game. If you made it to this far, I just want to say thanks for watching. I'm sorry if I turned this into a First Light versus Second Son video. Thanks for watching my first After Platinum video. I'm LeeTSimba, and peace out. Like, comment, share, subscribe.